Hawkman issue 8, Robert Venditti writing and Brian Hitch on the art. You two read this, so I don't have an introduction for it because I don't know what's going on. Take it away.
So I've been waiting since we got the reveal that there was a Kryptonian Hawkman. I've been waiting, and this issue is all about Qatar Ol.
This issue opens with Hawkman in the ruins of Krypton, just in the rubble of where it was.
Right, which Supergirl's just recently been there in the Andreyko run. So, again, since Bendis has taken over, I feel like Krypton has become much more important, and that shows in this issue too.
Fair enough. He keeps saying how whenever he visits somewhere, he gets something he touches, time slips him. Yeah, but here is like, well, what will link me, because Krypton's gone. It turns out just the planet itself is enough.
Being gone is because you find out that Qatar Ol was on Krypton
on
when
the final
it
day.
exploded.
Yeah,
and he was a historian, just like Carter is now, and he was actually Kara's basically history teacher, and which blows Carter's mind because, like, out of all the places in Krypton, right? Like, of course, everything goes back to the L family. And he talks about how Jor-El, he goes, one of you survives and comes to my home and becomes the greatest superhero. And he talks about Jor-El.
You would have called him Kal-El. And he's like, oh, Jor-El's kid?
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
he gets off. Yeah. And then he talks about Kara being one of his students and how she's such a great student of history and anthropology. And she showed great promise. It's a shame that she's not going to get to be around because the planet goes, oh no, she gets off the planet too. She becomes Supergirl. He's like, wait, there's more than Krypton survives? He's like, don't even get me started about the dogs. Like, so there's a bit of
levity in there,
levity in there because it is Qatar Ol's final moments, and they're he had already figured all of the stuff out that Carter is figuring out now about the previous lives and the Death Bringers, and
it's kind of this idea that it was all for nothing for him because he was building this weapon, and that's what Carter has come for. He's come to get this weapon, and he's like, "Oh, I'll take it back with me." And then it turns out it's freaking huge, and it was just kind of built into the planet, and it was like, the plan was to load here.
Yeah, like a large hadron collider, I imagine. Like, you can't just take it with you.
Yeah.
And then this is what got me was Carter being so desperate. He's like, "Well, you come back with me, and you'll build it on Earth." And he's like, "No, that's not how this goes. This is my destiny. I'm done. I've done all I can. Me existing now is for you to go through this. So now there's a weapon. This is my legacy to you." And it was just this really nice, like, he goes, you never know what number you're on, and this might be the last time I reincarnate, but clearly not because you're here now.
Yeah. And there's a nice touch where at the end he's like, no, look, this is the lesson. And he's like, no, you need to become the weapon somehow. It's down to you.
Yeah.
And he starts blurring, the lights. He goes, the time slip's starting again to take him back to, now. And he's a little confused because he's like, well, I don't usually return till I get what I need. I thought I was here for a weapon. And it's like, well, do you know what? Maybe that little speech was actually enough. That's what you did need. And because he's touching hands with Qatar, it kind of carries him through for a little moment as well. So he's seeing the present day. It's going both ways until they let go.
Yeah, and it's really nice too because you get this history of Krypton in this museum because it's Kryptonian, the holographic technology. So you're looking through those pages and you see the history of Krypton. There's Flamebird and Nightwing, and I'm gonna have to pull the page up because there's some other stuff.
There's all sorts in there, isn't there?
Touch on, and it's just a really nice, like, Venditti again. I haven't liked I can't say this now because there's more I think of his that I like than I don't. But I think he just needs the right character, and I feel like him being able to tell this big grand scope of a story, it's really playing to his strengths.
It is definitely, yeah.
But so you have the Doomsday's there and Mongol.
Zod's
it looks
up there.
like Zod, and it looks like Zod's fighting Brainiac, which I like when we get Zod as the hero.
I'm not sure if he is just fighting Brainiac, or if it's just Zod and Brainiac, and it's the way it's laid out.
Gotcha.
Like you say, Nightwing and Flamebird are there.
Yeah. Tomar Ray.
Yeah.
Because he was responsible for that sector.
Yeah.
He's
You
there
see,
front and center, which I
yeah,
love for Venditti.
Kara's down there with her other
With her
students.
schoolmates. Yeah, because it looks like this is what's going on at the museum at any given day. But yeah, Doomsday's there, and then there's that. I recognize the girl with the white hair. Is that? I don't know who it's supposed to be though, because it's not Silver Banshee. I don't think.
No, I don't think so.
It also kind of looks like Insect Queen. So if you guys know who that is, hit me up on Twitter because it's been driving me nuts since I read this issue.
No.
The guy with white hair kind of reminds me of Black Zero, who was the Kryptonian cult leader early and back, way back. So, but it's this really fun page that just really, but yeah, I love how Krypton's become this focal point recently. It's this long dead planet, and it's basically really only been used for like this where Superman came from, but now it seems to have more importance.
It's quite impressive to me that we're seeing the description of Krypton again, and it doesn't feel cheap. It doesn't feel like, oh, I've seen this before, because we're seeing it from a completely different character. Where their perspective of what's happening here now. It's actually nothing to do with the elves for once.
No,
just different. It feels fresh.
Yeah. Yep. So and I like the design of Qatar Ol, because it's Kryptonian enough, but you also look at him and you're like, oh yeah, there's a hawk on his chest.
Yeah,
it looks
it's
very
clearly
much like
some sort of bird. Yeah.
Yeah, like his cowboy version of himself. I can't ever remember his name, but
yeah,
it kind of is reminiscent of that one. And he's wearing the colors. It's the green and the gold. So it's just I'm never thought I'd say this, but I think Hawkman's entered my top 10 characters.
This book has been consistently great, and it has been getting better. I don't think this issue matches the heights of the last one, admittedly.
Yeah, no. Well, that's an all-timer, I think.
Yeah, that's going to be one of those standout issues of the run, I'm pretty sure. But this is still pretty great, and it ends with the Deathbringers perhaps showing up at Earth, and they've harbored the great betrayer, which is Hawkman, obviously. And
they look like they've upgraded. This is not the Deathbringers we saw in the last issue, where they were just hawks, basically.
Yeah, this is very insecty with the wings on this.
Yeah, insecty, celestial-esque, if you will.
Yeah.
So, so what are you rating it, Connor?
This is probably an 8.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9. That's another one that I really enjoyed this time. So yeah,
art's great as well, because it's maybe the least impressive it's been, because it hasn't had all the big showcase moments in this issue. It was a lot lower key than usual. Yeah,
but again, you have that big double-page spread of the history of Krypton, and you have these emotional moments like the hand touching and whatnot.
It's still far and away the most I've ever enjoyed Hitch.
Yeah. It kind of plays against his strengths, right?
Especially
these
this
quieter
issue,
moments.
Yeah.